Today on July 10th, we are at the full moon for the month of Tammuz, and it is a full moon in Capricorn. In Hebrew, the constellation Capricorn is known as Gedi, which means the wild goat. If you're feeling a little wild right now, it comes as no surprise because the moon, when it is in Capricorn, is in a fallen state. It does not like to be in Capricorn because you see, the moon is all about feeling. It wants to feel all the emotions, whereas Capricorn does not want to feel anything at all. So they're really at odds with one another. The sign of Capricorn is about legacy, career, and reputation. And full moons are a time of release, a time of letting go, a time of endings. And so at this time, God is allowing us to release anything that is holding us back from stepping into our highest timeline, our greatest potential. At this time, we want to be reflecting on what needs to be released, what relationships, people, places, situations, old mindsets, attitudes, perspectives, what needs to be released so that we can move forward into this greatest, most highest timeline for our lives and lay hold to purpose and really build our legacy, our reputation, and our career. Today is a really big day for me, a significant day on my journey. If you've been following these videos for some time, you know that I've been going through this process of divorce, of releasing that which is expired. You know, this is an expired contract that the Lord has been working on releasing me from. And today is the day in which I finally have been granted by the judge to be able to sign off on the divorce. So it's a big day for me, and it's no coincidence, and I did not plan it this way, that this would happen on a full moon, on a feast day for the Lord. But it comes as no shock or surprise that it would land on a full moon, because that is what full moons are all about. Full moons are about releasing, about accepting the things that are hindering us, are no longer aligned for us, and letting go. Full moons are emotional times of release and reflection and God illuminating things that need to be processed and released for our highest good. So it's important to take this time to reflect. And as I've mentioned on previous videos, that it's important for us to, when we come to the close of cycles, it's important for us to have the proper perspective, because as we go through these things and as we reflect on them, it's easy to become a victim. And when we make ourselves a victim, it can be a very dangerous place to be, because we tend to make excuses, we tend to avoid, we tend to shut down, or point the finger at other people. And yes, there could be some truth to things that seemed unfair or that were unfair and that were out of your control. But it's important for us to really face the honest truth that we had a part to play in that season of our life, in that situation, and for us to learn and grow from it. For me, I've learned so much about, the things that I've once accepted and once allowed, and just a lot about my self-worth, about my value, about really believing actions and not just words and false hopes and false promises. So it's just caused me to really, raise my standards and increase my self-love and my self-worth, and to accept that those were things I needed to learn. And it's okay. It's okay that I had to learn those lessons, the hard way. And I can leave grateful for what I've learned. And I don't have to hold unforgiveness. And I don't have to point the finger. It's so easy for us to blame shift, especially when it is an unfair situation. It's easy for us to point the finger and to shift the blame, or to, get upset and frustrated with God because we feel like the situation is unfair, and to kind of close ourselves off and shut down. But it's important for us to just understand that it's okay, and it's all working together for our good, and it's all bringing us into our greatest timeline. It is helping project us into the greatest timeline for our lives and to build that legacy. It's our mess becomes our message, becomes our testimony. And so we can own it. We can own everything, and we can actually leave things, release things with grace, with mercy, with love, with forgiveness, without having to feel like we have to hold this resentment towards the situation or towards people or towards our trust in God. We can know that He's working all things together for our good. And this is not to punish us or, to begin to not trust ourselves. This is about embodying the truth, embracing the truth, because it is the truth that sets us free, helps us grow, helps build perspective and character. So this full moon is also, it has to do with King David, and it is about the mansion of the kings, the story between King Saul and King David. David sought refuge at En-gedi, okay? And the constellation Capricorn is Gedi in Hebrew, which means young male goat. From ancient times, the sign of Capricorn has always been referred to as the mansion of the kings. And within the constellation of Capricorn, you can see a beautiful likeness of a crown. En-gedi is where David sought refuge from King Saul. It was this uncomfortable time in David's life. This was a moment in time where there was a changing of the guards taking place. You see, Israel had rejected God the Most High as their king, and they demanded of Samuel, the prophet Samuel, to raise a king of the flesh up to lead Israel so that they could be like the other nations and have a physical man as a king over them. And so God gave them Saul. And we know that Saul, unfortunately, was disobedient and did not follow the instructions of the Lord. And eventually God had to replace him with King David, a man after God's own heart. You see, before David could really step into his highest timeline, into his legacy, and into his kingship, he had to release Saul. He had to accept the situation that was present, the reality of the pain and the relationship he had with Saul. Saul, at this point, is hunting him down to kill him, and David never retaliates. David maintains his integrity. He expresses mercy and forgiveness towards Saul and refuses to kill him. But he does cut off the corner of his robe, and in this way lets Saul know that, though David could have killed him, David still respected and still had love towards Saul. So there could be situations, and for me in my personal situation, it's like a betrayal, a releasing, a letting go, and it's painful. And I can imagine David feeling all these same emotions towards the betrayal and the rejection of Saul, and Saul even seeking to take David's life. And yet Saul maintained integrity. And so it's important, as I've said, to just accept, to show mercy, to show grace, to not become so consumed with anger and with the hurt of the betrayals of things that maybe God's asking you to release at this time, so you can step forward, because these were all things that had to happen to bring you to this place. And you can see David's heart. Even though he was in a place of pain, he maintained the love of the Father. He maintained his integrity and honor. And this is only by the grace of God that we are able to do this. A scriptural reference to Capricorn or Gedi, the wild goat, is found in 1 Samuel 24, verses 1 and 2. It says, "Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of the wild goats." So this changing of the guard is not one that is without conflict, without being challenged. It's challenging us, the things that we are facing, the time of transition, the crowning into our new position. the receiving of our crown, it is not without intensity. But you see, God made an everlasting covenant with David. And it says in 1 Kings 9:5, I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever. There shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. So God is raising up his remnant into their place of kingship. He is allowing us to possess our throne, to operate from heavenly places with Christ. And again, this is never going to go without being challenged, but we are wrestling for our promise, for our purpose, to fulfill our destiny, our high calling, our legacy. And so whatever that looks like right now for you, remember that your mess is a message. David's mess, David's pain, David's running for his life, it was a part of him taking his throne. It was an unavoidable circumstance that had to be faced in order for him to step into his kingship. The sign of Capricorn or Getty is represented by the 8th letter on the Hebrew alphabet, which also represents the number 8. This is the Hebrew letter Chet, and it represents a gate, fence, or wall. It represents and symbolizes protection. So in the midst of whatever your circumstances are, understand that you are being divinely protected and you are being divinely appointed. And all these things, though painful, are working together for your greatest good. So let us allow our sufferings to lead us into the perfect will of God and create in us a clean heart, a heart that is reflected of the love and grace of the Father. You have been chosen. Your heart has been tested and seen by the heart of God. And all this that you've endured is making way for your legacy, for you to step into your high place. You're being rewarded. You're being entrusted with greater, with increase, with the things of the Father. He sees that you are capable and have the character to be entrusted with greater responsibility. So I hope this was helpful for you and gives you some insight on what this full moon is all about, what God is trying to say through the signs in the heavens and through the feast day of the full moon. So as always, be blessed and know that it is all paying off and you are moving towards the goal, regardless of what it may feel like. You are moving in the right direction. God is proud of you. God sees you. God is entrusting you with increase and bringing you into the promise. And you are so loved by God. So be blessed.